Alright guys, this is Dr. McFarland, and based on popular request from this last week, we're going to do a little bass rig building here. Alright, so far we've done nothing but guitar rigs. So now we're just going to do new rig, and we're going to go to an amp. And we're going to mess around with the tweed bass. You know, because, you know, the Fender Bassman has bass in the name, so we can obviously use, you know, a Fender amp of some sort. But the main two bass rigs that we have is a Blue Line bass and a Blue Line scoop. And there should be one more down here. Can't remember where it is. Yeah, Blue Line bass, Blue Line scoop. And I thought there was like a flip top. There it is, flip bass. All right, so the 66 flip bass. Let's just start off with that one. That's a good one. So this brought in a 1x15 open back. And I'm going to have... let's put a SM7B on there on axis and see what that does. And make sure my volume is up here. Alright, cool. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to check out the controls here. So we got a very simple volume, treble, and bass. That's it. So I'm just going to crank up the volume here. Alright, make sure no other dynamics or anything are on the board. Alright, very cool. And let's see what happens if we lower the treble. Alright, cool. So that kind of took away some of the snappiness that I normally get from this bass. Cool. And let's raise the bass up. All right, so I'm approaching this. Let's see, we're going to do flip bass. So we're going to save it. Viewer suggested Headrush rigs. All right, so I kind of treat these rigs very much like I'm listening to a raw track when I'm recording, and I don't want to start adding, you know, lots of compression and EQ and other stuff into the chain until I've learned what the bass sounds like. So that way you have some kind of basis for like a good starting point of where to go. So that sounds great. So I'm just going direct into my PreSonus Studio Live, and that actually sounds really good. So I kind of like it with the treble down. Let's just see what happens with the treble all the way up. Yeah, way too clicky. So treble down. kind of smooths out some of that top end. And let's just see what happens if you crank the amp. Alright, so it definitely starts getting pretty crunchy there. Let's find a spot where it stays nice and clean, but it still has a good fat sound to it. Some will, some will lose. Alright, sorry. Started singing there. Where's my microphone? I gotta go over to the cab here. So we got open back cab. Let's see what it sounds like on off axis. Great. All right, so that's the SM7B. Let's see what Norman 87 sounds like. All right, didn't hear tons of difference. Let's go back. All right, so it's pretty similar. I know back in the day, you know, when the Beatles recorded and, you know, back in the 60s kind of era, you know, Neumann mics were all over the place. They would use those things for drums, kick drums, overheads, bass rigs, guitar rigs, vocals, tambourine recording. I mean, they just pretty much use it on everything. So don't shy away from the 87 and the 67 mics. Especially even for guitar rigs, I mean, because you can, I mean, they've always got this classic sound with them. Let's look at the 414, which is a Sennheiser, no, not Sennheiser, AKG C414. All right, so that has a good sound to it. Let's just stick with the 87. All right, cool. I like that sound. So that is our starting point. Okay, guys, we just have the basic amp and a cab. I'm going to go ahead and take the amp and cab out of the switch assignments down here. Let me see here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. All right, so I'm using a bass from guitarfetish.com. It's called the XVIVE. I mean, that's the brand name, but I'm not sure what model bass this is. But the bass only costs like $160, $180, something like that. So I'm not using a fancy bass at all. But it sounds really clear. Sounds good. All right, so now naturally what I would do is add some dynamics. And let's see what the dot comp sounds like on the bass. Let's bypass it. Kick it back in. All right, let's hear a little bit more squish. It says crank up the ratio, maybe lower the threshold. All right, it's pretty good. Bypass. I'm liking that. What's that one thing they just added? Modulation. It was the... Was it the Tron filter? I think so. So if you want to get a little funky with it, and best thing I know to do is just go through the presets. Alright, that one's not bad. Here's extreme. Alright, so that is one possibility. I'm not going to keep the Tron filter in there. Not going to do it. I mean, really, if I was playing bass in a band or something, this would pretty much be all I would need. Unless you're in a rock band, and something really great to do for rock bass is to have some kind of fuzz or distortion going on in there. So let's just do a Doc Rat Crunch. Especially, let's check this out. So, especially if you did something like this, to where you're going black op, and you got a stereo mix going, so you got one panned. So that way you could have the left going out to the, like, you basically go separate left and right outs going into the house, and then they can blend in the drive with the clean signal. So alright, so check this out. If I go A level down, no, maybe I don't want to do that. There we go. Alright, hold on, let me do this. Alright, let's do this. Let's make it both 100%. And so we have B level, which is our clean sound. Okay, then our A level is going to be our overdrive. Okay. So you're basically using this as like a parallel compression. Okay. Or let's say you did this. Let me pivot here for a second. So I'm going to get my expression pedal out, and if I don't break anything. Okay, so I already got the cable plugged in. And we're going here. Alright, so check this out. We're going to add on volume pedal over here T4 expression. So with the heel down, alright, see what I did there? I'm basically using my volume pedal in the parallel path to raise or lower the amount of overdrive I want in the signal. Okay, so check this out. Check it out. So So there's my clean. And there's my black op distortion, and then I can maybe go halfway back. Alright, does that make sense to everybody? So you can take the same concept and apply it to your guitar rig. So if you had something to where you got your amp and cab and you wanted to, you know, there's another way. You can do it this way too. So you got your black op over here. And so you can have some amp stuff there. Yeah, so we got compression on our clean path, and we have the volume and black op on our dirty path. And that's just how I'm going to do it. All right, let's see what's going on here. So there's clean. And I can boost the gain on the compression. Alright, cool. Alright, I like that. Let's well, let's really make it really raunchy sounding. Let's darken it up though. Lower the volume a little bit. Alright, cool. That's what I would do if I was playing bass in like a rock kind of band or something. I'd have a clean path and a dirty path. Alright, I like that. So let's make that, yeah, let's just make that the one rig here. Then we'll go ahead and go to a new rig. We're going to go amp. So the flip bass had very, very basic controls. The blue line bass is your Ampeg style bass amp. And this has volume, bright, ultra low, treble mid, bass, ultra high. And then you can adjust the mid frequency, which is going to be, you can move that up or down right here with the mid range. Okay, so let's just bring this up to a decent level. So we're going to save that as BL Blue Bass Viewer Suggested Headrush Rigs. Alright, there we go. Ooh, that sounds good. Alright, so now look. This one actually has some additional microphones that the other one didn't have, okay? So we have the addition of the Dynamic 20, which is the RE20 microphone. And then we also have the Dynamic 12, which is a D112 microphone from AKG, okay? All right, we got ultra low end right there. Then the 20. Okay. That has a nice full sound to it. Alright, so on axis is always going to give you more bite. Off axis is going to give you a little less high end, a little bit more lows. Which I like that more for a bass sound. Then on the amp, I'm not going to mess with lots of highs. Let's go ahead and take the ultra high out. Alright, let's boost our mid frequency. See what happens. Yeah. Now for your bass parts, you want a certain amount of mid-range in there. Otherwise, it's just going to disappear. So usually like around 800 or so is good. We can boost that a little bit. Then you can adjust the lows. Alright. We're getting some really low content there. And let's see what happens if we crank it. Okay. So around the 80% range is good. Alright. So there's a basic amp patch for the blue line bass. And I'm going to go ahead and take out those out of the switch assigned down here. Let's go ahead and bring in our dynamics. Bring down the threshold. That sounds good. Let's bring the attack down a little bit. Alright, let's bring the attack back up. It's killing the transient just a little too much. Alright, cool. That sounds wicked cool. Not really sure what else I would want to do with that. Let's experiment with some chorus. As I know some bass players like doing some kind of modulation thing. Let's just try a little bit of chorus. Alright, that sounds good. We can bring the mix down. We can bring the depth up. Alright, cool. I like that one. Let me check the comments real fast. What up, Greg? What's up, peeps? Alright, not sure what's going on with my computer. Nah, that's fine. Let's kick it over to... I just want to get on my live stream here real fast to see what's going on. And yep, there I am. There I am. I can see myself, and we're live, and we're doing good. All right, Greg, if you're still watching, give me a bass song that you want me to play. Okay? Because I'm keep playing the same thing over and over and over. All right, 2 people watching. Give me a song to play on the bass before I start moving over to guitar. Or you can give me a guitar suggestion. Give me a guitar rig idea here, okay? What I'm going to do now is... so what you can do, you can go in and you can change the amp. And then you can just resave it. So save new rig. Bass scoop. Viewer suggested Headrush rigs. All right, there we go. Okay, let's see what controls this has. All right, so this actually has a master volume and a gain as well. So whenever I have a master volume, say love song. You're talking about Paul McCartney? Man, I keep hitting my... I'm in a very small space over here. Alright, so whenever I have a master volume, I tend to just crank it all the way. Then we can adjust the gain to taste. Gain. Let's bring it down. We have not checked our output yet tonight. Alright, that's good. I want to make sure I keep the green bars 3 below 0. Yeah, Silly Love Songs, Paul McCartney. Yep. Don't know how to play that one. Actually, I probably hadn't even heard that song in a while. So I need to do my homework on that. Sorry, I just hit my phone holder thing. So, so what's different about this one than the other one? This one actually has tremolo. What? All right, we got to turn on the tremolo. Oh, yeah. Now that's interesting. I don't know why you'd want that, but let's go ahead and do this. Let's go to hardware assign, amp, tremolo. So that way the on and off tremolo state is on a switch. And we can actually go in here, take the Dynacomp out, move the amp tremolo there. So that way on this patch, if we have it in setlist mode or rig mode, you can see the tremolo and chorus at one time. Then you can see the previous and next rigs on these 2 switches over here. So and there's some chorus. All right, cool. I think the last one I'm going to do is, let's go to amp, Tweed Bassman. So this has a 4x10, and usually bass amps have a 10-inch speaker. If some amps have 8-inch speakers, some have 15, but it's pretty rare that they're going to have a 12. It's either going to be an 8, a 10, or a 15. So and when I think of The Tweed Bassman, I always think of like Motown bass parts for some reason. I really don't know why. But we got normal. Alright, so we just gotta be careful with this one to not crank the volume too much, because it is a low wattage amp. And it's gonna overdrive pretty easy. Alright, check the output. Alright, so it's compressing pretty good. So let's turn the volume up. Alright, so we're going to call this Bass Man Viewer Suggested Headrush Rigs. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's check here. Let's stick an 87 in front of it. So that has a nice gritty sound to it. Alright, cool. Alright, so there are 4 rigs. Let me take the amp and cab out of here. And I know you can get into doing like EQ and different stuff like that, but I'm very, very simple when it comes to my bass rigs. I don't need tons of stuff. Just get a decent sounding bass, throw in a stock amp and cab, and kind of tweak the volume so you're getting a nice fat tone. Then check your output, make sure you're not, the green bars aren't going too high. And that's it. So let's review here. So we got our flip bass. The heel down is going to be clean. Then toe down is going to add some drive. Alright, so that's fun. We're doing the blue line bass. You can have chorus on or off. Okay, which I like that. Let's do a bass scoop. Alright, that has a chorus on. Here's tremolo. And that's fun. And now we're going to do bassman. See, that has a nice mid-rangey bite to it, which sounds great. Alright, cool. I like all that. Alright, I'm switching over to guitar. And I'm going to play some silly love songs. Just for Paul over here. Oh. Alright, that was fun. So tonight I am using the Mission Engineering Aero SPHR. Let me flip this around here. Come on. There we are. Alright, so I'm using this. The Mission Engineering. Looks like that. It's got a cool little piece of felt underneath there so you don't hear a lot of noise when you're clicking the heel back. And it has the switch on there, which for that you have to have a TRS cable going into this one, then you have to have a regular 1/4-inch cable going into here in order to control both at the same time. But that's how I was using the volume pedal there. to control the bass. Okay. So there we are on that. Alright, so let's make sure I'm in tune. The tuner on this is actually pretty good. So this week, I'm going to start doing, I'm going to continue my Helix versus Headrush series. And I'm actually going to compare the GIGBOARD to the Line 6 HX Effects, since they're similar in size. And, yeah, the HX has more switches and stuff. But I'm going to show how I use both. And that would be a good comparison to continue the series here. And the same rig you use for bass, you can now use for guitar. Alright, so now let's do something completely different. Alright, I seriously don't know what silly love songs are. So, if you can comment, somebody, and let me know maybe some other toggle. What does pop out chat mean? Ooh, look at that. Oh, so I can put the chat on like a different window or something. That's pretty fun. I didn't know I could do that. Oh, Tom Petty. All right, here we go. So I'm going to say that Tom Petty used a Princeton. Let's just say, yeah, let's say he used a Princeton reverb. All right, so we can keep all that at the same volume, but this amp is kind of made to be cranked. So we're gonna maybe a little bit too much. Oh, what's the next chord? Oh, I messed that up. Alright, I think that's what I would use for that. Now, the other option, let me check my output here. Alright, the other option would be to go with a Black Lux, which is a deluxe reverb. Let's do a deluxe reverb. Oh yeah, a little bit brighter, a little more headroom. We can turn the tremolo on and off. Oh, it did not work when I add effects loop. Yep. All right. PR. Trails do not work when the effects loop is engaged in the 4-cable method, because Headrush said that they can't predict. Let me try and get this right. They can't predict what's going to be inserted into the loop. So therefore, they don't know, they can't allow things to trail off. And like, I think the trails is like a digital thing. It's not like a hardware or an analog kind of thing. Even though line 6 and their HX effects and their Helix and whatever else, they have trails on everything. So that's been my main gripe from the very beginning of owning the Headrush was, well, other companies can do this, so why can't you allow trails on a 4 cable method? Because that's the whole point. You know, you want to hook up to a real amp, but you want all your effects to spill over when you change patches and stuff. When you insert the effects loop, you can't do that. So let me just show you, for example. You have to go down to effects loop, default, and notice how tails turned off. Now if I bypass it, or if I take it out, see, now tails are back on. So yeah, by inserting the effects loop, you're going to kill all the trails. Okay? Which is why, let me explain what I do here to get around that. So when I use a real amp, I'm not going to use the 4 cable method. I'm just going to use the output of the GIGBOARD or the big pedal board. I'm going to use the effects return only of the amp. So I'm using the amp as purely a power amp, and then you're still using a real cab, or if you're using a combo amp, then it's just all in one. But so that way you're getting the sound of a real amp, real cab, but you're using the Headrush as a digital preamp to get the sound of all your different amplifiers and whatever else, and you're still able to use all the effects on the GIGBOARD and the Headrush, but you're getting the push of like maybe a tube amp of a real amp. So that's my workaround if I do want to use a real amp. Otherwise, I say screw it. I mean, the Headrush has all the amps you want. So I understand, yes, you paid lots of money for your big beautiful tube amp, but sorry, it's nothing more than a power amp at this point if you want to use the effects return with a Headrush. But if you don't mind the tails being bypassed, then yeah, go ahead and use your 4 cable method and just live with the reality of not having tails. So that is the sad truth. I wish it was different. I don't think they can change it now at this point. They'd have to totally like redo something with the hardware in order to make that happen. And I don't know if they're willing to do all that right now. So anyway, that's exactly why you can't have 4 cable method and the FX loop and a real amp going at the same time. Yeah, no problem, PR. Alright, so what am I doing here? So let's just say we're going to make a basic petty rig. Sounds so petty. And hardware assign. So we can go to amp vibrato, so we can turn that on and off. Still hearing some crunch in there I don't really want. Now, I'll tell you another amp that sounds really good, clean, is the Black Shimmer. That thing has a nice sound to it. let's see what else we got. Bass. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and go in and say hardware assign amp tremolo. So that way we can just get that going. Speed down a little bit. We'll turn the depth down. Refugee, yeah. Alright, let's say Tom Petty. I know his guitarist Mike Campbell, he uses some way huge pedals, mainly in overdrive distortion kind of stuff. So let's say he uses a DC distort, very low gain. Alright, and let's say he uses JRC, which is a tube screamer. I need to tune again. I don't know what happened. We're tuning. Tuning. I've actually been waiting to do this like all day. Thursdays is like live stream. We're making it happen, folks. Yeah. All right, what's another song I like to play at Tom Petty? So we're doing cool. Alright, let's see what amp we have in here, or cab. We got a silver cone. We'll do a Royer 121 on axis. Now, the problem with Vernon Reed is, let me open up another window here. I mean, you can get similar tones, but in order to sound just like him, I mean, you have to be him. I mean, you have to play like him. And that's my problem, is I don't have the chops. I don't have the chops to play like that guy. But in living color, I want to check it out real fast. So here's a rig rundown from Premier Guitar. That's cool. I have to check that out later. QUILTER Personality. All right, let's check out this song, QUILTER Personality, after the commercial here. Alright, so let's finish this Tom Petty kind of stuff. So let's rename it. Let's say edit rig name. We're going to say, gosh, I wish I could type. Refugee Petty. So let's add a reverb here. Reverb, 11 reverb. We're going to do my dock medium plate. Alright. Now, if you had a 12 string, you can get a good jangle kind of sound. I like this song. Some days are diamonds, some days are rocks, some doors are open, some roads are blocked, some downs are golden and fade away. And if I never do nothing, I'll get you back someday, 'cause you got a heart so big it could crush this town, and I can hold out forever if your walls fall down. So I think really you just need a good, really just a good Fender amp. Let me put the SM57 on there. We don't want too much low end going on. I think that's great. And then a little bit of tube screamer. Or you got okay, so we got that one. We got a little bit of distortion. Woo. And then you got your tremolo. All right, cool. I like that one. Let me pull up the faders here. Huh. All right, so I'm hearing just a nice and nasty lead sound. So we're gonna go for a let's go for a Saldano. Let's go for a drive. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna bring the bass down on this thing. Yeah. Yes, we are. We're gonna bring up the mids. All right. And let me listen one more time. All right, cool. See what key this song is in. All right, I think it's in the key of G. All right, so what is he doing to get that really piercing kind of sound? So we can raise the presence up. The other thing I want to do is bring the gain down and the master volume up. Because most high gain amps, you do not need tons of overdrive. Alright, so let's see how low we can get the amp sound. So while still having some decent crunch. Alright. Living color. Let's try that. Now, I like the effect here that is in the air filter, and it's called the auto wall. And what's cool about it is you can adjust the mix. So what I'm hearing, yeah, he just has a good cranked high gain amp sound. I mean, there's really no specialness to it. Specialness, is that a word? It is now, folks. It's a word now. So we're just gonna put in a tube screamer, kind of control some of that. Let's go to hardware assign, take the amp and cab out, air filter, green JRC. Let's change this to an actual green. Let's change the air filter to a red, because why not? All right, so. Alright, let's just say for fun that he uses some delay. So let's do a bucket brigade. We're going to go default. We're going to turn the mix down, turn the delay up to around 700 milliseconds or so. Okay, let's turn our air filter down a little bit. So what I'm doing, I'm introducing a wall pedal effect, but just kind of sneaking it in a little bit. So it rolls off the low end. It gives the appearance of this nasal kind of sound. All right, so as you're playing, you get a little bit of sweep of frequency movement going on. Then you got the JRC, you can kick in and out. Let's make this purple. I want to make it purple. Sounds pretty good. And now all you gotta do is just play like Vernon Reed and you'll be good. You'll be good to go, man. Let's do chamber. All right, very cool. What else do I want to do here? I don't know. I've been going for an hour. All right, I've been slaying that beast. What do you mean, thank you anyway? I came pretty close, right? I tried. I really do. All right, let's turn the gain up on the amp a little bit. Let's go to 30%. Now, this is my own take on the song. I mean, am I going to get exactly like it is on the record or the YouTube live performance? I mean, it's just, it is what it is. But all I'm hearing is just basic high gain amp. Hadn't really heard tons of effects on the song itself, so it's just him playing all this fancy stuff. And I'm listening to the performance of their hit Cult of Personality on the Arsenio Hall show back in 1989. Wow. That was a long time ago. I was 9 years old at that point. All right. How about we do one more song and then we can hang it up. Hang it up. All right, I'm gonna make a new rig here. What do we do? What do you want to do? Call it out. Now let me go listen to Silly Love Songs and see if there's anything special. Oh, Lenny Kravitz. Oh yeah. I know what I'm gonna do. Are you gonna go my way, Lenny Kravitz? Alright, let's listen. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, so let's just say that Kenny likes to use a Marshall amp. I'm sure he does. Don't really think it matters. He could use a Bogner amp. I mean, I don't know. Let's just go with the lead 800, 100 watt. And this, I don't like the Dyne 409 on there. I think it sounds too scooped to me. Let's turn the master volume all the way up, turn down the preamp. Ooh, that thing is bright. All right, I don't like that amp. Let's try this one. All right, let me listen here for a second. All right, so let's go with the bridge tone here. I know that's like some kind of flange. All right, so we got modulation. Is there anything else in the wall in the filter that does flange? Probably not. There's an air flanger. Let's see what that does. Shifter. Nope, that's not it. All right, cool. I like the air flanger a lot. It sounds pretty cool. That sounds wicked. I haven't messed with this one yet. Alright, I just want a very basic airplane kind of sound. Alright, I like that one. Let's put that on a switch. Hardware sign, flanger. So, I mean, basically the whole song is Kravitz, my... Man, I wish I could type. My way. Alright, cool. What do you think of that one, Bobby? Don't really have a whole lot of other stuff in here. Could add a wall pedal, I guess. Now, what I like about the HX effects is when you have the heel down, it gives you the option to have a wait time, so it automatically turns on and off. That's pretty cool. I like that. But if I add a wall pedal now, default close. Alright. Don't know if I like that or not. But we can put on a switch. Alright, cool. I like that sound. Let's not have a wall on there. You can add your own wall if you're using the big pedal board. Let's adjust the mix a little bit. Cool. That is fun. All right, so let's recap here. So we got flip bass, blue bass, bass scoop, bass man, refugee petty, living color. I think actually living color is supposed to be OUR. Let's edit that name. OUR. Yeah, that's the British way of doing it. Sounds good. And how many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, we gotta do one more, folks. We got to do one more. We got to. Alright, name off one more. Give it to me. I know you got one. I know you got it in you. Checking my email real fast. Come on, Bobby. Come on, come on. That is my first time using that air flanger, and I really like it. Black Sabbath. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. Let me Google real fast. Hey, Google. Black Sabbath rig rundown. Looks like he uses a Lenny of some sort. Don't know what's close sound to a Lenny. It's probably just some sort of Marshall, some kind of Marshall blend of some sort. Let's go with the red channel of a Bogner. And let's change the cab to the 430 Classic SM57. Volume all the way up. Alright, so I wanted you to notice that when I bring down the treble, let's do all factors. When I bring the treble down on the amp, or sorry, when I bring the gain down on the amp, it kind of accentuates the high end a little bit. So I'm going to bring down the treble, bring down the presence. Let me switch guitars real fast. All right, so I'm going to use my Reverend. What do you call this thing? Shoot, what do you call it? I forgot. This is the Reverend. What do you call it? The name has left me. It'll come to me here in a second. Oh, the Sensei, the RAFM. Sensei RAFM. Sorry. Thought I had it. All right, here we go. Bring the gain back down because these pickups are a little bit hotter. See what happens if we add a tri-fuzz. Crushy. It sounds like poop. Alright, don't like that at all. Let's see what happens if we add an 8-bit crush. Alright, so that's kind of my secret sauce right there. The 8-bit crush sounds weird by itself. Alright, I think that's good. A good underlying bit of craziness in there. Let's bring the mix down a little bit. So we just took a regular basic old amp and we fuzzed it up. We're doing Black Sabbath. BBATH. All right, cool. There you go. What is it to the weather to the what do they do? Alright, fun. Now, is that the exact tone on the album? Probably not. But it just comes to show, just take an amp, crank it up, hit it with some kind of tube screamer fuzz kind of thing, and just make it sound gnarly and rock out. Play the part of the song and just let the tone carry you wherever it carries you. I think that's all that matters. So and you notice I only got 3 things in here. I got an 8-bit crush, which is basically a fuzz. I have the dirty channel of a Bogner, and then a classic 30. Now I went with a Bogner because I'm seeing online that he's using some kind of Lenny amp, which I'm gonna watch this video when we're done so I can learn more about that. But I mean, most amps are either going to be based on your Fender or your Marshall kind of sound. Then it's going to be a little bit of tweaks from that. So once the Headrush gets more amps, like any kind of orange amp, or let's say a PV 5150, or whatever else, we'll have more things to choose from. But till then, I mean, a high gain amp is going to sound like a high gain amp. I don't think it's going to be that much different if you were to add all these other amps. Especially for me, I mean, after a while, just once you get to a certain amount of gain, and it's just it all sounds the same to me, so I don't really care. All right, cool. So let's recap again. So we got the flip bass, blue bass, bass scoop, bass man, refugee petty, Living Color, Kravitz, My Way, and Black Sabbath. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. It was fast. Well, like I said, I'm not trying to get exactly like the record. I just know if you take a basic amp, crank it up, throw a fuzz in front of it, what else do you want? You know, now it's up to you to go actually learn the part and learn how to play the song, and then just download the rig, and then you got some Black Sabbath going on. So, or you got this kind of stuff. There you go. You know, a little Iron Man or something. All right, there you go. All right, guys, I am Dr. McFarland. Please, please, please check out my website. You will find all the rigs and all the videos for the rigs in a playlist within the video and file section of the website. So that way you have it all in one place. You can be watching the video and download the rigs at the same time, all in the same place. You don't have to go searching on YouTube and then going to my website and whatever else. You find it all there in one place, all in the video files page. I do have a membership going right now, which is $30 a month, and that includes access to all 3 courses that I have available. And the last course, the Anatomy of Recording, is not even, I hadn't even started making videos for that yet, but you got the Anatomy of Music, which is all about music theory. Then you have Anatomy of Gear, which right now I am using the Headrush products to demonstrate some stuff on there. But eventually I'm gonna be using guitars and different amps and pedals, and you know, it's all about gear anyway. So that's what that course is about. So you can gain access to all that and all the content I have so far, and all content I have in the future for, like I said, for that monthly fee. And that helps me crank out more videos and, you know, pay some bills around here. So appreciate you guys watching. And I will be preparing for next week's viewer suggested Headrush rigs. So I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video.